Starting off the video, Stephen, Twitch's boss's mom, slams the hurtful claims from his widow, Allison Hurlgore. He doesn't deserve this. We will not stand by while his name and legacy are tarnished, Connie, his mother, said after Allison came out claiming that he had, that she found drugs and stuff, that he had drugs, even though the autopsy showed no drugs in his system at the time of his death. So the mom is mad about it, and then our family is absolutely appalled by the misleading and hurtful claims made about my son, Stephen Boss, Alexander began in her statement. The recent publication spreading rumors, so she talked about that, the smear campaign. I just wanted to show a clip of it. And here is a screenshot of Allison, I guess, apologizing. If you want to pause and zoom in to read it, it's too small and it's going to go by too fast. But I'm just, I'm kind of shocked because when this originally happened, I was like, instantly like, something is not right here. And I made a couple videos on it back in 2022. And over the last couple of years, every time I see her post, I just get like sick. I just feel sick.
I don't make the effort, but that's just how I am. I feel disrespected by them, so I'm not going to talk to them. These are all people that I've grown up with. And to see them now,
to be your family,
act different for social media, it's like...
Are they acting different for social media?
I don't know. And
or is it you? But then the comments are brutal. Calling her mom, some are kind of, racist. Calling him Stephen is all I needed to know. Comments about black women. She's not his biological child. She's going to stick up with her mother because that's her mother. He wasn't her father. And then somebody commented about her hair. Oh my God, I thought I was the only one who could see this. Okay, I was like, why is she calling him by his name, not Dad? Oh, wow. That girl is the M word. No, she's not. Her biological father is white. I was never sure. Okay. Trying to look black adjacent. Okay. Miss Cheese as. Okay, so they're pretty brutal. And, who calls their dad by the first name? Girl, so I want to just clarify. He was her father. He adopted her when she was 3 years old. That makes him go from being her stepfather by law. When he married her mother, he became her stepfather, legally her stepfather. But when she was 3 and he adopted her, that made him legally her father. Which also makes me remember I was like questioning, what happened with the biological dad. In order to adopt a minor child who has living parents, you have to get consent from those living parents to adopt them. So that means that the father either signed away his rights at some point, so she didn't have to ask him, or he signed away his rights so that Stephen could adopt her. But so stop saying that wasn't her father, because that was absolutely her father. He was her adopted father, he was her stepfather, and he was the man who raised her since she was 3 years old, who knew her since she was 2. So he's passed away 2 years ago. She's 16. She met him at 2. So minus 2, she was 14 when he passed. So he had been her father for a dozen years. So it's very fucking weird for her to be calling him Stephen. And it's very fucking weird for her to be calling her grandmother Connie. That is fucking bizarre. Very. Very disrespectful on her part. Like, you want to express hurt and anger and disrespect. You felt disrespected by his family? How does that equate to you now calling him by his first name when he's your fucking dad? He was. That ain't right.
LoveDreamingBeach.com.
The shower. after midnight. After midnight. Let's see. Got a bunch of various things I want to say. It's actually 12:45 a.m. It's Friday night. All right, let's see. It's 12:50 a.m. I have to wake up at like 6 to get my son back to school because he's got a meet and he's got to be at the bus. The bus leaves at 6:30. So I really need to get to sleep. I was saying earlier, a video I'd never posted, that, I was talking about filming things on landscape so that I don't have to do all the work to get it in landscape when I want to share it on YouTube, and that I have such a small following, and I'm shadow banned on TikTok anyway, that it doesn't matter if the people who watch TikTok on their computers are not able to, see my video properly, because anybody watching on their phone can turn it sideways and see it fine. But, hopefully TikTok won't go away. I think that's going to be really messed up. So I have socks for tomorrow morning that I have to put on to go. Whoops. To take my son, so this is a little precarious. So, because I'm ultra sensitive to any hair or anything, I like to de-hair my stuff, my clothes, before I wear them. So anyway, what was I saying? So way back in the day, 2022, when the beloved Stephen Twitch boss took his own life, I had been a big fan of him and his wife, and thought they were couple goals. But instantly, from the moment that he was gone, I immediately thought there was something weird about her reaction, and I made a video about it, about her sus behavior, but I never really got that into it, and I also have suspected that her oldest daughter, who was Twitch's stepdaughter, that basically Allison Holker, Twitch's widow, is grifting that her oldest daughter is biracial by doing her hair as if she's got, curly hair. And lately she's been wearing it like that all the time. See, I have curly hair. It's curly when it's wet. It's wavy. It's wavy with a few curls, but then it's so baby fine, it just falls out. So, again, you can do what you want with your hair. If you want to put it in a perm, you can put it in a perm. If you want to put it in curls, you can put it in curls. If your hair is curly and you want to straighten it, you can do that. If you want to wear braids or wear it down or wear it up or wear it half up, or I don't care. All the options. I don't care. But what I do think is weird is for a white woman who has a daughter who looks to be like she's also white, and then to have two biracial children with a black man, and then, I don't know, like your oldest daughter is always styled as if she's also biracial. I also don't like how I've seen some videos where the daughter, Weslie, looks uncomfortable in the somewhat revealing clothing she's wearing, or she looks like she's not really into doing the dance that her mom seems to be wanting her to do. And I have often wondered, was Stephen completely trapped? And did he feel like there was no way out and that he couldn't tell her he wanted to leave? And I watched a video today. Oh, what was her name? Without a Crystal Ball. And it's all alleged speculation. I don't know if it's true. I have no idea. I have no way to know if it's true. But apparently he did want to break up with her, or he had broken up with her, and the Stephen's brother was saying, he told me that he wanted to leave you, and I regret that I told him to try to work it out for the kids, and that everybody knew she had a drinking problem. This is all after she wrote a book, and she said that Stephen, like he had substance abuse problems, and apparently she claimed that he was SA'd as a child and had never told her, but she read it in his journal, so she feels like she should tell people. Like, what? No, that's not what you should do. And then she said she found mushrooms and what was it? Some kind of pills. I don't know what kind of pills, but I'm like, I mean, you can have serious abuse, substance issues on pills, but like mushrooms? No. Well, let me see. All right, so I did some screen recording, and it's all kind of blurry, but actually that's better because she's a kid. So, but you get the gist. So you will see, look, there she is as a young girl, very straight hair. Okay. My point is, in showing these, I do believe that Allison is exploiting her kid. I think that I had a feeling that at the very end of his life, the kids started getting in on ads and stuff and dancing, and it made me wonder, were things spiraling to a place? That's how she's been looking for the last few years. Were things spiraling to a place where he wanted out? You know, if you are constantly performing in your home and you can't, that looks like she started with the curls, okay? You can't ever relax. You can't just be yourself. You can't just have privacy in your own home, and you have to always be on. So maybe she got like a light perm at some point, and then she decided, like, I just think that at some point when she was younger, her mom started to perm her hair. You know, you think that nobody would do that, but like JoJo Siwa's mom was bleaching her hair when she was like 2 years old. So look, there she is. Straight hair. That is some straight hair, okay? And when you look at the pictures of her as a little girl, all the pictures of her, like there's another one, straight. And what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, I think Allison Holker is a grifter, or an exploiter, I should say. She's not really a grifter in as much as, like, you know, she can dance and all that stuff. Look, another straight hair. I think that she's been exploiting her son, her husband, her daughter. I think this one I was trying to zoom in on her roots. And I just think it's sad. And hopefully the children know how loved they are. I mean, it sounds terrible that she's been... Look, here's one when she was pregnant with the first one. Straight hair. Now she's claiming all this stuff about him that nobody else seems to agree with. That looks like a perm. And I just think she's grifting. I said grifting. Look, straight hair. I think she's exploiting her kid like she was exploiting her husband. If there's truth to the things that all those people supposedly said, the mom, the brother, cousins, co-workers, friends, and there was apparently stories that Allison had a drinking problem and maybe doing some other things. And it was tWitch that was always picking her up off the floor and having to carry her out from somewhere, and then he wanted out, and then he wanted a divorce. And I believe that, because that's what I was thinking, like when it first came out, the shocking, horrible tragedy. I was like, oh my God. You know, like Will Smith, there was this moment where Jada went to film him and he was like, I'm in my house. You can't just be coming up and filming me. That Instagram is my bread and butter. You can't just be, you know, and she was like, I got to deal with this foolishness. And I was like, what a narcissist. If tWitch had the kind of lifestyle where every second of every day his wife is like popping out the camera and like, come on, let's dance, let's make a video, and he's like, I just want to make a fucking motherfucking sandwich, girl, and he never could not be on, you know. And I don't know, I am totally speculating, but I'm speculating off of things that I've heard, things that I thought, things that I've been seeing. You know, I have seen videos where Weslie dances with Allison, and she literally looks like she's being held hostage. Like, for real. She looks like she does not want to be there. I've seen videos of her wearing like a low-cut thing, and she's walking through, and she's like going like this. You know, made me think of, I forgot the name, but some other well-known person said, her mother used to always make her wear really inappropriate things when she was younger, and that girl, I don't remember her name, but she's like emancipated from her now. I'm just like, you know, it's just a really sad, terrible tragedy, and maybe we will never know. Some people think that the family is just bitter, and tWitch didn't have a will, so everything went to Allison, and the family was mad about that, and they fought in court, and supposedly she made them sign NDAs just to go to the funeral and all this weird stuff, and she won't let them see the children. And you know, like there was a video she had where her and the kids were at a theme park of some kind, but it was just them, and it looked so sad and like dystopian. And I'm like, you're getting paid for this. You're getting paid to be in this place by yourself and like force your children to look like they're having fun. Like, how creepy. I don't know. And people are saying that she changed her name on Instagram from Allison Holker Boss 2 days after he passed back to Allison Holker. And the statement that she'd made, I can't find it, but you know what? I find it despicable. It's like she's trying to smear him after his death. And like, if the man took his own life because he couldn't bear to share his feelings or his thoughts or whatever, if it's true that you're sharing his thoughts, F you. How dare you? That is not for you to do. Like, what the fuck? And then if you're lying about him, which is even more horrible, like, I don't know. The second he died, I was like, ooh, I hate this bitch. I don't know what it is. She gives me the creeps. Something's wrong. Something's wrong about her. Something's wrong about this whole situation. All speculation. No facts. Allegedly. My thoughts. Bye. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube. catlovedreamingpeach.com and my website. Same name. See you where I'm at. So, yeah.
catlovedreamingpeach.com.
Cat Love Dream.
7:45 a.m. Crazy late last night. I made a video. I was planning on talking about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, but I ended up talking about Weslie Holker. And I gotta go back to sleep because I had to wake up at 5 something to bring my son to his fencing thing. But I just saw videos. Whoops. Oh yeah, wait. It was unexpected to see this when we woke up. Like, oh my God, what? I was not expecting the snow. I need to run out and clean the car off. Wow, Weslie Holker. So she made this video faux shame. God damn. What a shameful thing. I just watched it like mouth open. Like, oh my God. First of all, it was so obvious to me that she was speaking in her mother's voice because she kept calling him Stephen and she was calling her grandma Connie. And at one point she said something about, you know, she wanted to have the kids see the family, like the way she said it, the kids. She's the kids. So it was really weird that she like was speaking in third person as if she was repeating something somebody else said. And then she called her uncles the brothers. You know, see the kids and the brothers. Like, who talks like that? Someone who's repeating something that somebody else said. Because, and then just the fact that, oh my God, she's like 1,000,000% brainwashed by her mom. It's obvious. And, I mean, I was looking through the comments, and the first like 200 comments, I scrolled like, and they were all like, she said, Stephen, you mean her daddy? Her daddy? Is that her daddy? And, you know, and some people were like, no. And some people were like, that's her stepdaddy. And some people were like, well, he adopted her when she was 3 years old. And it's just crazy. Like, if she was calling him dad or daddy when he was alive, and he died in 2022, so, and it was like 9 days after their 9-year wedding anniversary or something, which I just remembered that. And supposedly he told her, according to some letter that was supposedly from his brother written to Allison. I don't know if it's true. That's what I was saying yesterday. I don't know if it's true or verified. But apparently, if that's true, the brother was saying that Stephen had told him that he wanted to leave her. Stephen wanted to leave Allison. And he said, I regret telling him to work on it for the kids. And that supposedly their last conversation was an argument about breaking up. And he even said the pew pew that was used was Allison's. But I don't know if that's true. And so apparently it was true, according to what Weslie was saying on the video, that Allison did ask everybody to sign NDAs to go to the funeral or to view the body. Oh no, with the viewing of the body, she said, oh no, my mom didn't want anything to do with that. I can't get my phone to stay still. Even that was fucking bizarre to me. The body? Like when my father died, I went to see him, and me and my mom went to the funeral home, and I wanted to see my dad. I didn't think of him as the body. And I have never in my mind ever, my dad died 10 years ago. I have never once thought I saw my dad's body. I saw my dad. He was dead. And I kissed him and he was cold. And I touched his head and God, it was awful. He was really dead. And I was the only one, except for my cousin, who went to see him. I mean, my mom saw him, but she didn't really want to. And when the funeral home person was like, you know, do you want to see him? And I said, yes, I want to see him. And my mom was like, come on. I was like, this is the last time that I will ever see my father. And I saw him there, and he was dead. I had to see him, you know. I said, Mom, this is the last time I will ever get to lay my eyes on him. And I understand that in her case, her dad, or who she's now referring to as Stephen, had severe trauma. You know, I don't I mean, they don't show, you don't see it like the crime scene. You know, they do what they can do. Yes, I would have wanted to see him. But it was just so cold. So cold. Oh, and she said that she said something about they disrespected me. They disrespected me. And that's when I started to feel that they were less than. Something like that. Like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, a little pause, a little bit of personal history. I've talked about this in other videos, but so I am obviously white, and my biological mother is a white woman. She has like auburn, red hair, and green eyes, and my dad had my color hair, or I have his color hair, I should say, and brown eyes. And those were my biological parents, two white people, two white folk. And then when I was 3.5, well, they were separated when I was conceived, and then they got divorced. And then when I was 3.5, my dad remarried a beautiful black woman. She's from Haiti. She's Haitian. Well, she's American now. She's been here longer than she, how old she was when she came here. But anyway, so she, and then my biological mother abandoned me and my sister when I was 4, almost 5. And then, so my mom, who I call my mom, she is my mom. I have never referred to her as my stepmother, like, ever. My dad told us that 3 weeks after they got full custody of us, we were calling her mom. That was when I was 4 years old. And I have never called her anything but mom. And so anyway, back to, so also she's a black woman. And so I did experience a lot of questioning and looks and nasty comments. And, oh, you're an inside out Oreo. And I'm like, yeah, for fuck's sake, yeah. I know that's right. Okay, so anyway, I in particular feel like, to be up here referring to her dad as Stephen and calling her grandma Connie, and then she said the brothers, my uncles. It is so obvious that she's speaking from somebody else. All right, I screen recorded here. Let's see. Okay, so first of all, she is just a minor. Weslie Renee Fowler, the daughter of Allison Holker and Stephen tWitch boss. I'm reading actually over my computer. Born in 2008, making her 16 years old. She was born to Holker by a previous partner who I do believe was a white man. And I only say that because I believe that they're grifting with her hair and that she's biracial, which I just think is like they are fetishizing, monetizing on blackness. And okay, so she met him in 2010 when the girl was 2, got married in 2013 when she was 5. Her siblings, Maddox was born in 2016 and Zaya was born in 2019. And oh my God, listen to this. Girl.
These are all people that I've grown up with.
These are all
and to
people.
see them
her family?
now act different for social media, it's like, I don't know. And I'm trying to be respectful, but I just think it's complicated because
Okay. I just want to say, I know that she's only 16 years old. She's a literal child. And I believe that she's being brainwashed by her mom and that she's clearly speaking from her mom's point of view. She's calling her dad Stephen. She's calling her grandmother Connie. Just listen. I'm sympathetic. I think she's a victim here.
These are all people that I've grown up with. And to see them now act different for social media, it's like, I don't know. And I'm trying to be respectful, but I just think it's complicated because I speak to Steven's mom, like My mom and her were speaking
Stephen's
weekly
mom.
at some point. And I don't know if it's still like that. Like, me and my mom haven't talked about it. But since Stephen died, I feel like I've seen his family more than when he was alive. We would only see them once or twice a year. But you guys have to understand that it's because they live in another state. I don't make the effort. But
They're
that's just
wealthy,
how I am.
aren't they?
I feel disrespected by them, so I'm not going to talk to them.
How does she not know if her mom
Like,
still talks to
there were
them?
points where, like, the brothers would reach out to
The
me.
brothers?
Like, my uncles and Connie, they'd be
Her
texting
uncles,
me.
Connie, her grandmother.
I don't talk to them anymore. I feel completely disrespected. They've gone on social media saying that blood's thicker than whatever, and that's a direct dig at me and my mom. And if you don't see me as Steven's daughter, that's cool. That's like, take it how you want. That I know for a fact that's never how he saw it.
But yet you're calling him Stephen.
It's literally just hurtful.
But it's hurtful. You're calling him Stephen.
But I love to argue about the ND. These are all people that I've grown up with.
Gotta fix that
and
hair.
to see them now act different for social
I'm
media,
heartbroken
it's
for her.
like,
I really am. Because she's...
I don't know. And I'm trying to be respectful, but I just think it's complicated because I speak to Steven's
by her mom.
moms.
In
like,
my opinion,
my
allegedly.
mom and her were speaking
Speculation
weekly
only.
at some point. And I don't know if it's still like that. Like, me and my mom haven't talked about it.
Why wouldn't she know?
Since Stephen died, I feel like I've seen his family
to her
more
grandmother.
than when he was alive. We would only see them once or twice a year, but you guys have to understand that
true?
It's because they live in another state. Like,
you guys traveled a lot, right?
Things happen. We literally live in another state, and it's not like we're neighbors. It's not like we could just see them whenever we wanted.
Not see your grandma?
And now, like, my mom's constantly making the effort so that the kids are a part of, or not the kids
are a part. There you go.
I was about to mess up my words.
Yeah, because you're
repeating. So the kids are a part of their lives. And my mom.
So the kids are a part of their lives. You are repeating something you heard.
I don't make the effort. I love to argue about the NDAs.
Let's hear it.
Basically, not backstory, because, like, that's what the whole story is. But in one day, we had an open casket, like, viewing for Stephen. We had a funeral, and then we had a wake.
This part bugged me.
And my mom asked for NDAs to be signed when we were seeing Stephen's body. Because God forbid somebody that went to that took a photo of Stephen and put it on the internet, or, shared it with somebody else. That's the type of things that NDAs are for. It's not so you can never talk about it, and you can't ever talk about, you grieving him, you can't post about it. That's not what it is. And for all the people saying it, I just feel like you're uneducated.
I don't know, I think you might be uneducated.
But, like, truly, I'm fed up. Because
you are.
NDAs are so important. And if you guys don't agree, that's cool.
Okay.
I'm grateful for my mom making sure that everybody
think that
signed
you have
NDAs.
a right to not allow
to argue. That whole day was supposed to be beautiful.
Or brother, or
and instead it was
talk about how they feel or what they experienced.
Like, we were gonna say our goodbyes, and instead people were yelling at each other.
We're gonna say our goodbyes.
And
this is what
bashing my mom, and, like, that's a day that's taken away from her, and she can't remember it as being the day that's taken away from your mom. To be because
the funeral,
his family
your
was
father's
making
funeral?
It otherwise. And, like, when I say that this day, like, it's imprinted onto my brain. Like, one, because I had to say goodbye to the person that I loved and valued.
Not
then
your
on
dad.
Top of that,
you didn't say I had to say goodbye to my dad.
With seeing my
the
mom
person
go
I loved
so
and valued.
Much.
How this
it's a different type of hurt. Because these are people that we're supposed to love and value, and yet they're constantly doing things that make me see them as, like, less. Like, they're the ones impacting that image.
That make me see them as less.
But they're also the ones taking onto social media. So I just don't get it. Because that whole day was supposed to be beautiful.
5 with Holker.
That day was supposed to be beautiful. It's a fucking funeral of a man who took his own life. How is that supposed to be beautiful? That day is supposed to be a day of mourning for everybody who loved him. Look, supposedly, this is what Allison Holker had said about it, about Weslie after. She's handling it with so much grace. And the last words that he apparently had said, eldest daughter, I also think she sees those words, but it's okay to not be okay. She was the last family member to see Boss alive. Look at this picture. Her very, very straight, almost blonde hair. because, again, she's not biracial. Again, no hate. But I feel like I would be a grifter if I got my hair curly perm and you saw me with my mom and I was like acting like, I was also biracial. So this is her dad since she was a baby, who she's now calling Stephen, and the grandma is Connie, and her uncles are the brothers. And apparently the last thing that he had said to her was, "I wish I could be your Superman." Off at school. He dropped her off at school. So it's tragic, and it's obvious that to me, it's obvious that her mom has been brainwashing her against the family. And yeah, I get it. She's had her own, let's see. So she said the family dynamic. So she's, I feel like she's very much trying to embody a certain look. Weslie discusses their family's effort to say final goodbyes to Stephen, but there was drama following his death. Obviously, the Stephen's mom, she talked about how he was supposedly not able to see the body. She never claimed he was an addict, despite the recent backlash, even though she made it seem like she found drugs. It was like a shocking betrayal. And apparently, like I said, that video I saw on Without a Crystal Ball, on YouTube. And apparently, again, I don't know if it's true. I didn't vet it, but apparently there's all these like people who are saying stuff about Allison had problems with drinking and maybe other things, and that they had a troubled marriage. And again, like he was going to leave her. And actually somebody posted something I saw, like as I was screen recording that stuff from Weslie. So I feel disgusted that she said the way they were acting made her see them as less than. Like, hold up, you racist ass fucking bitch. What? Like, that is not okay. Yeah, and I did just call a 16-year-old a fucking racist bitch, because what the actual motherfuck. It's disgusting to me to hear her say that, because that's filthy. Like, I get people hurting you. I get you feeling alienated from them. I get you feeling like, okay, I guess we ain't family like that then. I guess you're not my uncle. I guess you're not my grandma. Maybe obviously she said, you don't think Stephen was my dad? That's cool, which obviously it's not cool. And, her mom, like, it's just so crazy to me that, like, she's claiming that her mom was talking to the grandma more and every week. Maybe that's true. It also seems crazy to me since she's saying she doesn't know if they're still in touch. So doesn't that mean you're not in touch? How can you see them more and be more in their lives if you don't even know if the mom, like, you're 16 years old, okay? It just seems very weird. And it's like, you're so obviously being coached. She called them the brothers. She's calling her grandmother Connie. She's calling her own father Stephen. She even said the kids, and then she stuttered because she's like, oh, I'm messing up my words. Yeah, because you're repeating something verbatim that you were told by somebody else, and then you're trying to make it seem like it's your words. And I feel really bad for her. Oh, also her last name is Fowler, and girl is foul. Isn't that kind of creepy that she's foul? But I want to just say, like, if she could hear this video, which of course she wouldn't, but whatever. You're 16 years old. You lost your dad. The world loved him, and the world loved you and your brother and your sister, and they loved your family, and they loved the energy that your parents brought. but then when he passed, it was a shock for everybody. And, funerals, like in a fantasy world of a teenager, a funeral is supposed to be a beautiful day where you say goodbye. And yes, on some level, that is the truth, but it's also a day where people grieve for the loss of the one that they love and they express themselves. I mean, at my mom's, she's kind of like my grandma. She's my mom's aunt, but she was really more like my mom's mom. So she was like my grandma. And when she passed and there was a memorial, there was like two cousins. They are like in their 60s and they were fucking fighting over some goddamn flowers. Some $10 flowers. I was like, these ladies, but it's like, obviously everybody's emotions are as high as they can be, and there's all the stuff, and I get it. When you're a teenager, you're not going to realize that. You're not going to have the maturity to see it that way. And if you've been being fed narcissistic garbage from a fucking see you next Tuesday, then, you're going to have a very skewed view of things. And if there's truth to what is being said, that Stephen was very unhappy, and he in fact wanted to divorce her, and then he suddenly is ended. Of course there's going to be contentiousness. Of course there's going to be anger. So, and of course she's not going to really see it clearly. She's going to see it from her own personal, and if they really are saying blood is thicker than water, I mean, I don't know. I could not imagine them saying that. Or if they did, they probably were. I mean, of course, if they meant like, Allison is the water and they're the blood, and I could see how Weslie would take it personal because she's not the biological daughter. And I also know what it feels like to have. So my brother, who again, with my brother, I've never once in my life ever considered him my half brother. I've never considered my mom my stepmother. She's my 100% mother. He's my 100% brother. And I will fight you over that bitch. Them's the fighting words, okay? Forever, ever, okay? So, but that doesn't mean that I don't realize that my mom has a different relationship with my brother, who is her biological child. And, my mom loves me. I know that, but I also do know that there is a difference. But at the same time, my mom is incredibly much closer to my sister, who is also not her biological child. So it's not like I can say, like, they are her favorites. And I do think, maybe my brother is her favorite, but it's very complicated. And, I almost never mention it, but I actually have a sister in heaven who I never even got to meet. She passed away at only 4 days old. So my mom and dad had a baby girl who did not survive. So, I also feel like her intense relationship with my brother is also from that, okay? So, but anyway, I don't have any ill feelings at all towards either of them because of the fact that they have a biological bond, and it is a little different. Plus, I was 4. She married my dad when I was 3. Anyway, okay, I'm just saying, like, for Weslie to already be at this stage where she's calling him Stephen, she's calling them Connie, she's calling her uncles the brothers, and maybe when she said something like the kids and the family, or the kids and the brothers, she wasn't thinking of herself. Like, maybe she's thinking about her brother and sister, and she's thinking like they want to see them, the kids. That's possible as well. But it's just really sad to me that a 16-year-old girl is defending herself and her mom like this on the internet. And like, where is her mother? Why the fuck is her mother letting her do this? I don't get it. Like, how? I mean, I get it. She's got social media. She can just get on and make a video and post it. And then her mom's going to be like, what the fuck, girl? Like, what? You just made everything way worse. But, you know, now I feel like we don't see into the mind of the girl. We see into the mind of the mother. And we see into the mind of what the mother wants the girl to believe. And it's so sad because the girl obviously has distanced herself from Stephen and his family and literally said she sees them as less than, which, girl, nothing, like, seeing anybody as less than means that you're a fucking narcissist or a racist or a xenophobe or a sexist or a misogynist or some fucking shit, because people are not less than us. We might not be feeling close. We might be upset with them. We might feel distance. We might feel like you ain't fam after all. You might feel like, well, fuck you then. But to say you see them as less than is, girl, you need to grow up. And hopefully somewhere you will get the help you need. But it's certainly not going to come from that narcissistic mother of yours. I think the world can see who she really is now. And it's my initial concerns are seeming to play out in, like, wow, shit. On his Instagram, a beautiful tribute to Matthew Perry, Stephen Twitch Boss. And how when he supposedly took his own life, despite the fact that he had not claimed that was something he ever wanted to do, his wife claimed that he never talked about anything like that and she had no idea. But the day after, she immediately put out a statement. Well, just a real quick recap in case you're not familiar with what happened. December 13th, 2022, Stephen Twitch Boss, who had just turned 40 years old. Well, let me back up. December 10th of 2022, Allison Holker and Stephen Twitch Boss celebrate their 9th year wedding anniversary, happily posting each other on Instagram the next day, or maybe even on the 12th. They posted a dancing video like they usually always do, dancing together in their house. So December 13th of 2022, Allison Holker, Stephen Twitch Boss's wife, drove herself to a police station, walked in and said, I'm concerned and worried about my husband. He left the house last night. He won't answer my calls. We did not have a fight, but I'm worried about him. And just hours later, his body was found at a hotel a couple miles away from their home. Supposedly, the first story was that he had taken an Uber to the hotel, but when there was no Uber found, then supposedly he walked. And supposedly there was a note that referenced past issues. I don't believe the note has ever been released, and it was determined almost immediately that it was a suicide. And she claimed that she didn't know there were any problems, that he never talked about suicide or mental health problems or issues, that she was totally unaware that he had problems like that. And his friends said that he hadn't complained about something like that. I did once see a video clip of him many years ago, or maybe it was in an article.
It keeps going, no matter what, even if something seems very devastating, like there's some kind of force that's going to keep going. It's a constant work in progress. Your bounce back immediately doesn't have to be this like Hollywood story.
Like you're writing the intro to a book. And
Dog.
you're like, I had the gun in my hand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and meanwhile, like it was some trivial shit. I'm just looking at myself. This is something I've for sure done.
So Aubrey Marcus actually did 2 interviews with him that I could find. This one is 9 years ago. I can't believe there's only 232 views. That is insane. Okay. He interviews him here.
I should be. Exactly. You know, like I can be that and everything. Exactly. You know, I mean, I'm actually literally a poet, and that's another thing that has a weird stigma. Oh,
That's
you write
Aubrey.
poetry. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
you must take it in the butt.
Right,
Like,
exactly. But see,
no.
totally misunderstood. It's because they don't do it. And
Right.
for those that do write and appreciate poetry, they go, "Oh, that's really cool."
Right.
And with that, they realize because writing poetry is just another beautiful way of expressing yourself. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So for those that not poetry, it's just like, well, okay, well
Maybe, you know, that's a good point. Maybe what I think, if it's actually putting yourself out there, it has to be coming and exposing some part of yourself. You're actually putting yourself out there. You're making poetry with your body or your words or your emotions, but you're allowing that to be touchable. And I think that scares the shit out of people.
Oh, of course.
So if they don't
Okay, and then there's this other one
college for that, or what are you gonna do?
where he talked about he
just
didn't,
because they didn't
his parents didn't know
I did mine. I mean, watch.
about dance, and
I
this
remember
was
going
7
up,
years ago.
and I did mine. And then when I landed, I heard Robert in the crowd go, I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, nailed that. Like, you know what I mean? But that was the support that I had, man. Robert was behind me. My younger brother, DeAndre, was behind me. And, you know, my parents, it took a little convincing just because they didn't know anything about a dance career or a dance path because we didn't really know any dancers, you know, so they didn't know where you could go or what you could do with it, or, you know, can you go to college for that, or what are you going to do? You know, they didn't know those things. Mm-hmm. So it was it was definitely a process. Of course, you have your guys it's calling you ballerina and twinkle toes and all that. You know what I mean? But
what do you think is, you know, it's almost like that phenomenon of like gay bashing or something like that. It's like, what about you dancing is threatening to people? Not you in general. What is it about dancing that's threatening to people? Is it threatening their masculinity somehow?
Yeah, it's threatening
but
their
why?
masculinity.
But what? Let's bore down. Let's figure out what that is.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the misunderstood.
Okay, this was before he even got married.
Me,
look at that.
Especially, it was just a misunderstanding because I was as big as the guys that were mocking me. So it was never and that was the funny thing, is it was never a physical threat. It was always just kind of verbal, because I was just as big as they were. I could have been on the football field or on the dance team. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. So I think it's one of those things. It's like, well, wait, like you're built like that, but you're gonna dance though? I just don't get it. So what does my boy think about? Oh, you think that's gay? Yeah, that is. You know what I mean? Rather than thinking for yourself and being like, well, I guess that's pretty cool. Like, he seems like a pretty cool guy. You know, you don't understand it. So then the first whiff of any kind of opinion from somebody close to you, you easily latch on to that. You know what I mean? It's like you don't understand it, and then you hear somebody close to you say what they feel about it, and you go, oh yeah, I can kind of understand. Okay, yeah, like, you know.
So I'm going to go ahead and link both of those podcasts if you have any interest in listening to the full thing yourself. So back to the video. But first, before I get back to the video, I do want to say, from what I have listened to so far tonight, he seemed to be quite open, quite vulnerable, quite able to express himself emotionally. So, of course, that could not be true, but it actually makes me feel even more suspicious. Because if he's that strong and he's been through that much, question mark, question mark, question mark. That video was like old. So the whole thing that was suspicious to me was that on December 14th, Allison Holker released a statement saying, "It's with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share that Stephen has left us." And that's basically what this is about. And I remember at the time thinking, first of all, the statement was fucking whack. Like, who the fuck says what she said immediately after you find out that your husband is dead? Like, it was so bizarre to me that, first of all, that she even had a statement prepared. Like, who in their right mind can even formulate a thought to make sense and to be all like, oh, he was a light in this world? Like, what? What? Like, what? Okay. So the reason I wanted to point this out was because Matt LeBlanc just posted for his friend, and all the friends, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, David Swimmer, and Lisa Kudrow, they had put a statement out. So it was like 2 days later, they all put out a joint statement, and I only saw Matt LeBlanc's today. I don't know if everybody else also did one, but it's been 2.5 weeks, and that just seems normal. Like, that seems like, yes, you would be shocked. Also, I remember that when Takeoff was murdered from Migos, Offset and Cardi B, they also didn't put out a statement or post anything. I don't know if it was 2 weeks, but it was like an extended amount of time. And I remember, again, at the time thinking, that seems normal. That seems like how a regular, that seems like the average person would be so incredibly devastated about a loss, especially one that was unexpected, out of nowhere, completely shocking, a young, healthy person who had no reason to suddenly be gone. And the average person is not going to be prepared with a statement, all calm and collected, literally the same day. So I just wanted to say, yeah, here's another thing that makes me feel like, what happened to him? I did see some stuff, you know, Ellen obviously has a whole conspiracy about... I was searching for this. I finally found it. The actual statement. So this was from December 14th of 2022. She said it... Allison Holker said of her late husband, Stephen Twitch boss, "It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share. My husband Stephen has left us." Holker 34 said in a statement to People. By the way, there's some loud ass shit happening outside. Oh, I think it's the plow because it was snowing. Okay, let me start over. "It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share. My husband Stephen has left us. Stephen lit up every room he stepped into. He valued family, friends, and community above all else, and leading with love and light was everything to him. He was the backbone of our family, the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans." And I was like, bitch, like, what? Hated it. 2 snaps in a circle. What the fuck is this shit? That's what I remember thinking immediately. Like, wait. Okay, so like here, it says a little bit here. Apparently this happened the day before, okay? So 1 day later, and not only that, okay, let's see. She said, hold on. "To say he left a legacy would be an understatement, and his positive impact will continue to be felt. I am certain there won't be a day that goes by that we won't honor his memory. I'm certain that there will, and it's only 3 years later. Or really 2. Like 2 in a month. We ask for privacy during this... I'm sorry, it's 2025 right now. This was... So yeah, 2024, December 2024 was a month ago. Okay, so it was like 2 years and a month ago. And she's already out here fucking shitting all over this motherfucker. I am certain there won't be a day that goes by that we won't honor his memory. We ask for privacy during this difficult time for myself and especially for our 3 children. And I got all his motherfucking family and friends to sign an NDA because we want privacy. Oh, she didn't add that part. She concluded her statement with a message to her husband. Stephen, we love you. We miss you. And I will always save the last dance for you. Which is super fucking creepy if he actually broke up with you right before he left. Like this statement, he left us. He has left us. Like, wow. It just feels so wrong. Like if he actually said, I want to leave you, I'm leaving you. And she's like, you're leaving us? He left us? But like to equate somebody taking their own life as he left us, like he's dead, bitch. He left us, left the station long. Okay, and so literally 3 days before was their 9th wedding anniversary on December 10th. Boss and Holker marked their 9th wedding anniversary on Saturday, December 10th. 3 days before, she informed police that her husband left their house without his car, according to TMZ. After Holker reported Boss's unusual behavior to authorities, the Los Angeles Police Department responded to a call of a shooting at a hotel where Boss was found dead. Quote, it's our 9th anniversary! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I couldn't be more grateful to celebrate this perfect, magical day! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Quote, Holker wrote via Instagram on Saturday alongside a tribute video, quote, saying yes in all caps to @Sir_Twitch_a lot has been one of the best decisions I have ever made in my life! Exclamation point, exclamation point. I feel so blessed and loved! Exclamation point, exclamation point. I love you, baby, and I will never take you or our, in caps, love for granted! Exclamation point. I love you, in all caps, hashtag happy anniversary, hashtag boss wedding 2013, period, quote. Boss also took to the social media app to honor his wife, quote, happy anniversary, my love, at Allison Holker, hashtag 9 years with 9 hearts, 9 red hearts, he wrote. Okay, and 3 days later, he was gone forever. If you or someone you know is in emotional distress, yes, take this seriously. Let me put this here because I am talking about this. So if you or someone you know is in emotional distress or considering harming themselves, please call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 in the United States. I don't know if it's international, but wow, what a tragedy. And now she's writing a book about this man, and she's got his 16-year-old daughter calling him by his first name, calling her grandma Connie, calling them out, saying that she thinks less of them now. Wow. And I think that she's going to live to regret that she said that, and especially if she ever starts to feel differently about things. Maybe as she gets older, maybe she'll get access to videos, audios, maybe she'll get a different side of her father and of the family, or not, you know. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I had some notes.
CatLoveDreamingPeach.com.
Oh my God, it's almost 11. This took me so long. So I screenshotted a bunch of pictures of her when she was a little girl. So Twitch was in her life since she was 2 years old. So there, her hair looks like it's got some wave to it. And, you know, like I showed, when my hair is wet, it's kind of curly. I said it's baby fine, and so the curl falls out, but actually, you know, there's plenty of people who have baby fine hair and the curl doesn't fall out. So she's got that wave. So it's not because my hair is baby fine that the curl falls out. It's because the curl is a baby fine curl in a baby fine hair. So according to this, it says there is he's unknown. But I was trying to find this last name and Allison Holker's fiance. So there she is, like close to now. She's still got the curls going. I thought this was like, you know, is it her bedroom? Is it a hotel? I don't know, but it's like obviously a very nice, you know, they're doing quite well. And, well, rightfully so. So apparently they have about 6 million. Okay, so there's that same photo I showed earlier where you can very clearly see that she's got straight hair, that her natural hair texture, it just seems different than what she's been wearing a lot in the last few years. Obviously still, like, so if he was alive here, this is at least 3 years or more. But like I said, looking at her younger picture, really young pictures, you can see that she had straight hair. And then somewhere, even when she was very young, you could see that her hair started to be styled, sometimes wavy, sometimes curly, sometimes straight, sometimes in braids. There you can see she's just got like it pulled back in a ponytail. So why I feel so particular about this is not because I care if white girls curl their hair. There she's talking about mental health and the stigma of mental health, which is true, but it just feels so off. You know, here they are, mother and daughter attend mental health gala and in his honor. This was just this was a year later. Okay, so this is one of those moments where, you know, she looks to me, she doesn't look comfortable. Here they are. So you know, it's also, I always find it, I'm all for letting your kids have natural hair, but at the same time, it's like, how come, well, she's got her hair pulled back, the little girl, but she finds new purpose. You know what, it is raining out, well, it's not raining, it was snowing, and then now it's dripping, and I didn't want it dripping, but it kind of feels appropriate. So there's a photo of them. And look at how straight that girl's hair is. That girl's hair is silky straight, okay? So this is why I feel like the mom is grifting. The mom is exploiting the fact that she was married to a black man to stylize her daughter as a biracial girl who is clearly not. And don't you think that's going to screw with this girl's sense of self? Okay, the mom, in my opinion, is the mom because she's so young. It started so young. So the mom is styling her as if she's a biracial girl. Her biological father is nowhere to be seen, utterly unknown, according to these internet streets. She's got her 2 biracial siblings, and she had her black dad, little white girl. Look at her with her dark hair. Now her dad is gone. Her mom is like kind of trashing him. She's not getting to spend time with the black family. The black family is supposedly saying shit about her. Here she is again. Looks like, maybe she's got a natural wave. But her hairdo. Oh, there was like that one time where she posted a picture of her hair all curly and she was like, going back to my roots. And then the next day was back to this. It's like, bitch, why are you trying to act like you had curly hair? Another picture. So again, yes, it is kind of weird to be focusing on a little girl, and I am not in any way attacking this innocent, probably victim of narcissistic abuse is what I believe, that her daughter is a victim of narcissistic abuse, and that Allison has been exploiting her daughter, and I just don't like this lady. I don't like the way that she's handled herself. I know that dealing with the loss of someone like that, people are going to do it differently. She just seems so cold-hearted. She just seems so exploitative. Still dancing for and I get it. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be you. You got to move on. Okay, but there was just there was something about her that made me, and I guess others, have a feeling like, if this is how you behaved in the marriage, then maybe it is not so hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine. To me, it's hard to imagine, but it's like, maybe he felt that she was capable. Oh, someone had said in that Without a Crystal Ball video that she was threatening that he wouldn't see the children. But even still, why not fight, But then we know, again, I don't know if it's true or not that Blake Lively is lying about Justin Baldoni, but sometimes these white fucking see you next Tuesday twat ladies, they get real nasty and will say anything about you. Like my own fucking biological mother lied on my dad and said that he had SA'd us when she was the one who had SA'd us by her behavior and exposing us to all her disgusting S work and leaving me at the hands of those guys. And then she blamed it on my dad. This is my playlist on YouTube about it. If you want to watch, join me there. Oh, wow. I don't know anymore. So because I always like to bring everything back to healing from trauma, learning to love myself more, learning to love others more, learning to come to terms with what I've been through. And what I see in this girl, this young girl, this teenager, is a little girl who, her biological father, did he abandon her? Was he abusive? Was he a terrible guy? Why did her mom choose? Why did he choose? Why did they choose? Why did it happen that he's gone from her life? You can't even, you could probably find it if you have better research abilities, and you can go in the Wayback Machine or whatever, and it's still really loud out there. So no, I tried to look. I can't find it. So, okay, so maybe her mother has shown her photos of who he is. Maybe she knows his name. Maybe she knows him. Who knows? Maybe they have a relationship. but it's private and we don't know about it, you know. That's possible. I'm not going to pretend that, you know, there's any way to know all the truth about somebody like that. But it does seem as if he's not in her life, and that at 3 years old, she was adopted by Stephen, tWitch boss, who had been dating her mom since 2010, which means since she was 2 years old about, which is really little. And okay, so I also know what it's like to have two fathers, in the sense that my biological mother lied about who my biological dad was, who was her estranged husband that she didn't want to be the dad, but he was the dad, although he's on my birth certificate. So she really kind of decided that after the fact. And she was using the other guy, and he SA'd me and abused me. And then when he found out during the custody case through a paternity test that he wasn't my father, he came to see me a couple times. Well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe he was coming to see me. And so they got custody of us, and we were living with my parents, and we were going through like a custody case, but we were living with them, and he was coming to see me, although I only remember like a couple times. But then he just stopped coming, and I never knew why. And then, you know, when I was 19, my dad said, I asked him, like, whatever happened to that guy? You know, it hurt so bad that he just disappeared. But I was in a position where I could not ever openly mourn him, because like I had my dad, you know, who was my real dad, even though for 4 years I had thought this guy was my dad, even though my dad also told me he was my dad. So it was like I had these two dads, you know. And now I'm realizing, like, oh, he probably got the paternity test, which was court ordered, because I was, my dad's name was on my birth certificate, so he didn't have to prove he was my dad. He was already legally my dad. And the other guy had to prove that he was my dad, and he found out he wasn't, and then he disappeared. So anyway, that really hurt me. And, you know, and then I love my dad. He passed away almost 12 years ago, 11 and a half years ago. But I had a very, like, troubled relationship with him. So I'm just, like, relating to Weslie that, okay, so she had a dad who, I don't know, did he abandon her? Did the mother abandon him? Was he abusive? Was she, I don't know, we'll never know. Maybe we'll never know. And then she had a dad who was, like, amazing and brilliant and all these things. Like, he wanted to be her Superman. And then he took his own life, which is the ultimate form of betrayal. I mean, it really is. It's like the biggest fuck you, you know? It's like he could have gotten divorced. He could have gotten divorced and then still been in their lives. But he chose a horrible, horrible choice. And we don't really know why. And that's what we've been told. That's what we've been told. That he made that horrible choice. But immediately the day after, she already had this statement, which is just so fucking weird to me. Okay. And also I think it's weird. So, you know, it's kind of weird to like focus a lot on a minor and to show a lot of pictures of her as a child. But at the same time, I'm only doing it because I feel that she is being exploited, that she's being grifted, like that her mom has cultivated a look where a lot of people think that either tWitch was her biological father or that her biological father is also a black man. And I do vaguely remember, like back when I was making those other videos, that I thought I saw a picture of what might have been Allison Holker's ex-fiance, who was the dad. But and if the photo that I saw, which I couldn't find, I was trying to find it, if that was really him, he was a white man. So, you know, again, I've already said you can wear your hair however you want to, and not all white women who are wearing their hair curly or who get a perm are grifters or are trying to pretend to be biracial. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that she, you know, that's what I'm saying. I specifically feel like if I were to walk around with a perm and try to make people think that my biological mother was my biological mother, you know, it's like the Rachel Dolezal. Like, just embrace who you are, you know? So it's weird to me that she's like, she obviously looks like she's a white girl. Her hair in all the photos look like she was obviously a straight, blonde, blue-eyed, white little girl. And now she's like so slowly morphed into this biracial girl with a big curly afro, which she looks beautiful. She looks gorgeous. She's a very beautiful girl. She's gorgeous with the straight hair. She's gorgeous with the curly hair. But it just feels so griftery. It's giving, you know, the Kardashians, big butts, BBLs, while we're dating black men or married to black men or having babies with black men. But now we're with white men and we're back to looking like white women. Now we're back to having our flat asses that we were born with. And, you know, but like, that's what I'm talking about, fetishizing and monetizing and grifting on black culture or being biracial or all of that. And the culture that, you know, obviously I believe that all things should be open to all of us, but when you're exploiting your children and a culture and monetizing on it and fetishizing it, and then your husband is gone, and then one day after he's dead, you're saying that cold-hearted fucking like, to me, her statement was as cruel as if she pulled the trigger herself. And it's giving that he said, I am leaving you. And she said, fine. And then went, like, I don't know. I mean, you know, the idea that, like, it just kills me still that he's gone. That there's no going back. There's no turning it back. There's no hearing his side. I just feel so... It just doesn't sit right that this man who was so, like, the things that he was saying in those interviews did not seem fake. They didn't seem shallow. They didn't seem like just glad-handing and saying the right thing. Like, he seemed like he really went through some things to gain the confidence that he had. And I get it, like, narcissistic abuse can destroy that. But it's such a tragedy, and something feels so off, you know. And I guess if she had slipped in the back door with her gun and done something, you know, somebody would have seen it, I guess, I'm sure. We would have found out. But at the same time, you never fucking know. I don't know. I just find it to be so awful. And I feel really bad for all of his children. I feel bad for his family. And I mean, I don't feel bad because of how just despicable she's behaving. I don't know. Everything about how she's shown up in the last 3 years has just been so off-putting. It's just so troubling. And I actually never did go back to sleep. It's 10:42 a.m. Okay, maybe I'll get a nap in before I gotta go get my other son from his sleepover, but then bring them somewhere. Anyway, okay, what do you think? Sad. I don't know anymore.
CatLoveDreamingPeach.com